this story today is about the trials and tribulations of fighting and being heard as a collective residence, because many people in this area will be affected.
Residents are up in arms. There's a lot of passion, a lot of anger out there, especially with how the process has run.
How did it all start? Well, it started with me putting some leaflets through doors, and separately Indy and Amrit, who are local neighbours who live in Parkview and in Cloister Road, they separately felt strongly about the hotel and they started leafleting too. And we ended up, by one way or another, we ended up finding our local residents association. We teamed up with West Acton Residents Association, otherwise known as WARA, and we started to fight this plan together.
So the residents here have gathered from North Acton to protest against the greedy developers. They're trying to make a 6-story hotel, and they've admitted they don't care. They don't care about the residents. What they're thinking about, the bottom line for them, is profit. And if they could go higher than 6 stories, they would push this as far as they can go.
Basically, the hotel is not suited for our area. It's very, very out of character.
We're not New York. We're good old Acton.
I think you can get the perspective when you walk down that street. You can see on the side where they're planning to do the hotel, it's houses, it's residential. You look on the other side, it's like Manhattan.
We don't want to suddenly feel like we're Canary Wharf or we're Manhattan. We're actually a nice little suburban area, and we want to keep it that way so that children can grow up in an area where they feel safe, there's a reduction in risk, and they have a better quality of life.
Whilst the sites are currently in the ownership of Transport of London, they were included in Ealing Council Supplementary Planning Guidance SPG 22. A40 Acton Green Corridor policy has been in place since 2004, when it was stated it is important that a clear boundary for the Green Corridor is defined. And the Green Corridor boundary was based on a 25 meter wide strip all along the A40.
This is supposed to be a green corridor, and we've been fighting it for years to stay that way.
And in around 2004-2005, TfL decided that a bus depot should be put on the Gypsy Corner site. Now again, that totally flew in the face of a green corridor. I mean, what worse idea could you come up with than a bus depot?
TfL have tried to sell the land where they had objections from us when they started the in 2004 the bus depot, which we fought, and we proved it that the green corridor was important for our environment.
I mean, not surprisingly, the local residents fought it off, and you know the Ealing Council planners were all for it, but you know the residents got together with their local councillors. They got their local councillors behind them. They threw it out. That
itself left the sites being empty, not being utilized for the past 10 years, and now they brought this hotel.
We don't need to bring industry into this side. What we actually need are more community facilities, things which encourage community and it facilitates spaces for people to come together, or for shops, and I think that's something that's not being thought about here.
TfL are determined to build on the land, to sell it and get money. So they pressured Ealing Council to change and to water down their green corridor policy. They successfully did it, and now they've gone ahead and they've sold the land to the highest bidder.
We need it to be a buffer from the A40 Western Avenue, which then gives us, which then soaks up the pollution and noise pollution, the air pollution, the noise pollution.
That's important to the traffic that's going down the A40. It's part of keeping our air clear. It's part of buffing maybe sounds from the traffic, air pollution, noise pollution.
I mean, instead of putting affordable housing there and housing that's a nice buffer of trees and greenery in proportion with our local residential area, instead of doing that, they've decided to put a 6-story hotel next to 2-story houses. The hotel will have a bar that will have people drinking outside until 10 p.m, disturbing the peace and quiet of the neighbours. It will have hotel traffic coming to and from a residential street.
There will be no privacy. You've got a 6-story, 7-story hotel going up. People will be able to look into their backyards. What happens if they have little children? Where's the concern about that?
So the residents here we're trying to stand up and we're trying to say, look, this is not fair. We're appealing to the councillors to think of the residents, think of the practicalities of having a 6-story commercial building which needs to be serviced. There's cars coming, extra traffic. There's going to be more noise pollution. There's going to be more, traffic coming. It's going to make a congested area even more congested. And really, we're worried about safety for the kids, for families, for the elderly.
We need to shout. We need to tell these people what they're doing is not right. They're not representing us, and they need to pull their finger up.
No hotel! Say what you said!
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night?
They say we are shouting. How else do they want to hear us say no hotel? We have no hotel! Corruption! Corruption! No hotel! No hotel! No hotel! No hotel! No hotel! No hotel!
Is this going to get us on your side? Or?
It is going to get you on the side because we've had councillors saying something different.
I am ashamed by the way the council said I am late. This is not how it should be, okay?
This is a democracy and we have a right to make our views known.
I mean, I think the councillors need to listen. There's been a lot of emotion running high here, a lot of shouting, but there's also been reasoned arguments, policy arguments that we've put forward to the councillors. It was back to Planning Committee on the 3rd of June. Councillor Chitelle Munro opened the meeting with a 5-minute rant against the local residents, complaining against rowdy behaviour at one of our demonstrations. I was given no right to reply on behalf of the residents.
I think many members were very upset with the treatment that they received when they went to the site visit at Hall Lane.
Okay. Can I respond to that, please?
No. The Hall Lane site, a brownfield site, is now a leading location for the delivery of housing that both London and Ealing, as we all know, so desperately need.
We do need houses. We don't just need any houses. We need houses that people who live in this borough can afford to live in. And this development does not deliver that. It does not deliver affordable housing.
I've got the CVs here of all the London Labour mayoral candidates. They all talk about providing more affordable housing. This scheme provides a derisory 20%, whereas Ealing Council's target is for at least 50%.
20% is simply too far below the 50% target, and neither the developers' viability assessment nor the so-called independent validation of affordability are worth the paper they're printed on.
And if experts are saying that, then I will accept what they're saying.
I don't believe we have seen enough options
my understanding is that the developers were saying 11%, but we managed to push it up to 20%.
The developers always trying to get out of it. There is no genuine reason why a scheme of this nature on this site wouldn't be able to meet 50% affordability.
I think that for Ealing, we've actually negotiated a fairly good deal for us.
And why is that? There is an expensive basement car park. The benchmark land value for the site is overestimated.
Transport for London, response to the external consultation on page 43 states 33 hotel spaces needs further justification given that the site has an excellent level of public transport accessibility.
The London plan states that development in suburban areas with a peak total of 5 should not exceed 350 habitable rooms per hectare. The flats have a density of 422.
The suburban to urban and being in a transitional area in between that, the density range that is proposed in the scheme is consistent with that transition.
I'm just worried that by creating this transition setting, it's going to have an urban creep.
On page 3, the report states that the character and appearance of the area would in fact change.
Policy 77 in the book covers the location design of tall and large buildings. In addition to the above principles which are just outlined, they should accord with the spatial objectives of the strategy, being located in specific sites within Acton, Ealing and South town centres, gateway to Park Road and identified development sites. This is not an identified development site, and as such, shouldn't have a high-rise building.
Is it better for the community? Well, it changes the community very fundamentally because it's a very different type of architecture. It's a very different style of living. So without doubt, it's not better for the community, for the people who currently live there. It is without doubt not better. So I don't think this development passes the test of we'll be in a better place if this happens. We won't be in a better place if this happens. It'll be different, it'll be different in a way which is not better.
Overall, the character and the appearance, as Councillor Monroe also said, will change. There is no doubt about it. We will see a big change in the skyline probably.
The Ealing local plan states that the scale, massing and height of buildings must respect the amenity of adjoining properties.
Overall, the development will meet the design principles within the development strategy, which states that the scale, massing and height of buildings must respect the amenity of adjoining properties. 6 stories in the middle of a 2-story residential area has no respect for the amenity.
I mean, our national planning framework does indicate that we should be minded to support sustainable development in an area which actually will be able to take it.
The A40 Green Corridor policy is being effectively ignored by this application.
I believe it would achieve an appropriate balance between our regeneration objectives and the conservation of the natural environment as well.
Page 64 of the report states proposed development would inevitably result in a significant change to the immediate environment for surrounding residents who actually live in a suburban setting.
What device or process are you going to use to ensure that the committee know that it's not just Councillor Crawford that's objecting to these proposals, but all the ward councillors? Thank you.
And it is because we live there.
Exactly.
It's going to be on my road, it's not going to be on your road, and unfortunately, You know.
Hopefully what goes round comes round and it'll happen to you.
And unfortunately, the incompetence that we've seen in this chamber at the last hearing and just again now demonstrates it's shocking. It was worse last time, but it's still bad.
Jonathan has sent me the report, the officer's report. They have totally ignored all of our 6 objections. They are not in their report.
It's a very disappointing result, to say the least. I'm really angry, you know, on a number of levels. You know, I just am. And, you know, I mean, we got, at least our local councillors did come out and back us. But the councillors who live in Greenford and Southall and God knows where, they don't give a damn. Okay, and they ignored. Okay, we were told to speak to policy. Okay, so we spoke to policy. We gave them the policies to throw this out, and they totally ignored us. So we did what we were requested to do, and we were totally ignored.
Come on, drivers! Support! Yes, thank you! Support! Thank you! Okay, let's all shout once and right, because it matters to us. Every one of us, it matters to us. There are so many people out there nowadays.
People, not money! People, not money! People, not money! People, not money! No hotel! No hotel!
Come on, no hotel! Good drivers! Good drivers!
Premier in! Out, out, out! Premier in! Out, out, out! No hotel! No flats! No hotel! No flats! No hotel!
No flats! No hotel! No flats! No hotel!
But I think our presence here sends a strong message to the councillors about how the local residents feel about this. The councillors voted through the hotel. They ignored the residents. They sided with the developer. That's the story. Building height, the fact that it was a 6-storey hotel in a 2-storey residential neighbourhood. Arguments about density. The density of the flats are at an urban density in what is a suburban neighbourhood. Those points were just thrown out the window.
I'd ask them if they actually even read the material that was sent to them, because it's quite a lot of material written by well thought out people, very qualified people who have a very good understanding about environment and air pollution and noise pollution and infrastructure and community-wide issues and regeneration, and they would actually vote in favour of a hotel.
I sent through a 1-page summary by email to all the planning committee councillors. I did it using an email program called MailChimp, and that email program tracks how many people actually open and read your email, and according to the tracking, only 4 out of the 13 councillors had actually bothered to open the email, regardless of whether they actually read it.
Are we really being heard? Do our councillors, are we being listened to?
That our local councillors and our local MP Rupa Huck all opposed the developments in speeches and written submissions, but the planning committee councillors ignored them all and voted the hotel and flats plan through.
Most of those councillors actually don't live in this area. I would fail to understand how they would understand the impact of having a hotel right at the end of this street and how it would impact on their lives every day.
We should have a right to decide what happens in our local area, and we're not being given that right.
I feel that I haven't been heard, and neither do the people I know in my area. They feel angered by what has happened, and I think they're rightly angered. There's a justification for the way they feel, that here they have people who say that they are representing the best interests of society, and actually there are no interests there for us at all.
I'm just worried about the elderly crossing the road, with the lorries coming around, the cars shooting around, coaches. No, the future is very bleak for us.
This is of no benefit to us. This offers the residents nothing. This is all about money. It's all about profit. It's a complete overdevelopment, and it's not fair. Nobody wants it.